we made draft rankings for everyone. And this, let's just clarify. All the drafts are pretty good. There isn't a single dud here. And every single team has the capacity and the capability to win it all. In fact, I think every team can technically go lossless, although I don't think any team will.
Yeah.
So if your team is at the lowest ranking or it's a lower score than you may have wanted, it's not a bad team. Don't think it's bad just because we ranked it. Everyone wanted these power rankings before the season. We're probably going to be wrong about how it actually ends up going.
Yeah. Probably.
Because draft quality doesn't necessarily equal, like, match quality, I guess. Or just how the player plays. So, don't think too much about this. This, at the end of the day, is more of a tool to help you guys. And we'll give some insights, especially on some of the lower graded teams, on how you can improve it, either during the season or potentially next season. Keep my hands raised on that one. But let's start with rank 16.
Yep.
We've got the unnamed team of Kolya. So what we wrote here was that Kolya's strongest teams are just not, Kolya's strongest teams are just as good, if not better, than other drafts this season. However, the power level to cost ratio, so basically the value of the team, tapers off really hard. So it makes it really difficult to rank it above everyone else's, because you gotta remember, he's gotta use those 2 1-cost Pokemon that he has on his draft 4 times each. And that could be a serious problem for Kolya. But again, I think his team is capable, just like anyone else's, to win the whole thing. So we ranked his offense 10, defense...
8.
His offense 8. Wow.
Good counting.
We ranked his offense 8, defense 7, and value 4. Joey, I interrupted you, so go ahead.
You gotta think about it this way. If he's got 2 1-costs, you got to bring them each to 4 matches. That's you bring a 1-cost a week, right? That's 8 of the 14 weeks. You get 6 weeks of your most powerful teams. That's 8 weeks of your much less powerful teams.
That's so hard to sustain. But not impossible. And also not a death sentence for your season. But it does bring some potential playoff questions as well, because these are his slot 8 or slot 9 and 10. This is not like a slot 11 thing. It's not like a flex
like
point.
Slot 10 and 11.
Yeah. Anyway, not to dwell. Rank 15, we have Violet City Gumi. We gave Kolya a C+ with 19 total stars. So next up is Violet, who we gave a B- 20 total stars. Just a way we can grade it consistently. We'll talk about the star rankings after we talk about Violet's draft, just holistically. We wrote here, Violet's draft is fairly well-rounded, but features a few Pokemon that could pose as inconsistent pieces in her battles, more so than other drafts. Unlike other drafts with similar consistency problems, the peak team comps this draft can produce are slightly lower end. Even still, there's a lot of good in her draft, especially with her defensive cores. I think they're really, really good.
Yeah, there are just so many good defensive pieces there.
Yeah, she took a lot of great defensive mons, and you pair it with her pretty decent offensive core. It's definitely maybe a little below average for this draft, but still definitely suitable.
Still nothing to scoff at.
No, I mean, you've got Iron Valley and you've got Baxcalibur that could totally tear up a ton of teams, and she could win like I said.
Oh yeah.
These teams could win it all. Just a little harder to play around. We gave her offense a 6 out of 10. Her defense a 9 out of 10. The value we gave 5 out of 10 because we just felt like some of her lower end picks were not the best value for her team, given, the situation.
Yeah.
Any other notes on this? We've got a B- grade, 20 stars. No?
There. One other note.
Yeah.
a lot of the teams you'll notice this season just have that floating 11th Pokemon 1 cost.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really consider those floating 11th Pokemon 1 costs in any of these value rankings because they could just drop them and not need them.
And also, I mean, in some cases, it actually helps the value ranking because it's a flexible point on an already good team, if not multiple.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one. There's one case where that's really prevalent, but that's way at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next we've got Joshua, who we're gonna call Chris, because there's two Chris's, but Joshua, to differentiate. Yeah. Chris replaced Braden this season, and has started off with a decent team, all in all, for someone who has just no concept of how to do a Pokemon draft. I don't know what Chris's knowledge of Pokemon is. I think it seems to be all right.
He played through the games, and that's...
Yeah, and I think that's like a fine base knowledge, especially since Shanton hasn't pretty much, and he won this
it's something that you can work on.
Yeah, Chris is coming from decent knowledge, and I think his team displays that. It's going to be easy to use, which is really good for him, and I think gives him a good case to win some matches. But also, I do think that the ceiling of this draft is just a little lower than everyone else's, personally. Yeah. However, the specific pieces on this team, I mean, you've got Blaziken, you've got Mega Pinsir, you've got Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Hydreigon. These are some really explosive pieces and could come up with some crazy matches.
And you've got decent support with them.
Yeah, Bronzong, you got
Primarina,
right?
Cyclizar to do your spinning if you need it. Cineroar if you need a little bit more tankiness. Just a couple of things.
Yeah, a couple picks in there that I'm not a huge fan of. Not going to go into specifics right now. But
yeah,
it's not the worst draft. Not necessarily the best value to, Mon quality there, but it's not bad. We gave the offense a 9. I think that the offense potential here is incredible. You've got Bloodmoon Ursaluna, you've got Blaziken. Yeah, all the pieces I just mentioned can just put crazy numbers on the board, and even some of your more defensive Pokemon, like Primarina, can still one-shot a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
So you have to respect it. You got to give it a 9. What happened here? I'm gonna...
Yeah, we can do that. Defense, we gave a 5 out of 10. This team's just more offensively focused.
Yeah, it's closer to a hyper offense team. It's not hyper offense, but it's closer, definitely.
So you have to rate it a little lower.
It's more like a. Sorry, it's more like a setup team.
Yeah.
Yep.
And value, you get we got a 6 out of 10. Decent. I mean, there was a decent point spread throughout this. Most of it, the only Pokemon that was below a 10 cost was Decidueye at 6, and he has a floating point.
Yeah. And Decidueye for 6 is one of the higher quality 6 costs. We haven't been shy about some of these 6 costs. It's not necessarily the best, but it's definitely good. B- grade. What do you expect?
20 stars.
Yeah, 20 stars. So next we've got Dr. Bliss, another name to be D. A lot of unnamed teams, especially these expansion players. So, Dr. Bliss put together a well-rounded draft and has taken advantage of some draft slides to make some really interesting compositions, because he's got Pokemon with great defenses. So he's got really good walls, really good typings, really good abilities. However, outside of some key offensive mons like Chi-Yu, Zamazenta, and Latios, we graded this team's offense at 4. Not because it's bad necessarily, but because the amount of things that can produce really well offensively is pretty low compared to like every other team. So we just had to look at it and be honest and say, yeah, this is not the best team offensively. However, we gave this defense a 10, and I think that might be the only defensive 10.
There might be one more.
Yeah, but this team has a 10 in defense, which is very rare because offense is consistently higher in this draft, which makes sense.
There's one more defensive 10.
Okay, there's one more defensive 10. Yeah, but this team has like a clear strong point, and that's its defense. We give its value a 6. We thought that most of the picks were pretty solid, but there were some maybe weren't the most effective use of points. I do think the team got better after he made that trade.
The Samurai Hisui Bombardier trade,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the Bombardier Shuckle trade.
Yeah, and the fact that he managed to pick up Samurai Hisui in the way that he did when he did is so surprising and incredible.
It really made his team better.
Yeah. Next up at rank 12, we have Nick, Goldenrod Guzzlords.
Grade B, 22 stars.
Yeah, so Nick has managed to put together a very impressive draft. I like it a lot. And the quality of picks in accordance with their cost is very good, very solid. The offense and defense are, kind of potential style of things. Wow, you really fucked up the formatting here a little bit.
It's really bad up higher.
There we go. I think it's probably fine like this. Okay, but who cares? There's gonna be a big gap there for now. Yeah, but this could be a bit cumbersome to pilot at times, and I could see Nick dropping a few games because of just how a little bit more complicated his team looks. You've got a bit more of the high difficulty pieces, like the Galarian Moltres, Mimikyu, that can be a little bit harder to pilot for new players. And also some confusing late round picks. Yeah, I'm not sure about some of those, but he wanted them, and I think that they're not the worst, which is why the value score is like pretty good. I think it's 6, which is like fairly average for value in this draft. Offense, we gave a 9. I think the offensive potential of this team is really high.
Yeah.
Defense, we gave a 7. I think the defense is a little worse, but I think it's definitely serviceable.
I mean, when your offensive pieces are Great Tusk, Aegislash, your defensive pieces are still pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. And the value, we just 6, right? Like, I think the value here is reasonable, but I think there's some picks that might not be the most efficient. Whatever.
Yeah.
Next we got Andrew, the Dendemil Dunsparce. He wanted to change his name to Goldenrod Goldengo. We'd have 2 Goldenrod teams. I'm still considering letting him do it, so... he hasn't mentioned it to me since, though, so we haven't really talked about it. Anyway, Andrew's team has some poor type diversity problems. He knows this. And some lower-end Pokemon issues. Like, just some of those lower-end picks are just not the greatest.
Yeah.
But despite that, the strongest teams that he has are really fucking strong. Really strong. Every player needs to look out for these teams and, make sure that you're covering those weaknesses that he has. He made an effort to make some of these lower end pieces a little bit better by picking more utility focused ones. It's not the best situation down there, but not bad.
They do give him a little bit of defensive utility. You've got a flying type to deal with all the ground weaknesses.
He also has a levitate.
And you've got he does with Cragnole, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 ground immunities and he's got a ghost immunity very important if you're running a Marshadow Golden Go team.
Yeah. That ghost immunity is going to come in clutch. He might use that pig quite frequently. Actually.
No.
Joey, I know how much you hate that fucking Pokemon, but don't let it corrupt you. Because it's in here twice, because the genders are separate in the draft board. They are different Pokemon. They have different stats.
They are. And that, with how powerful his best teams are, we gave him the first 10 out of 10 offense.
Oh my god. Dude, the offense on this team rips. It's so good.
Yeah, and we don't see another one of those for another couple.
Like, even though, like, really, he doesn't have that many offensive Pokemon, the offensive Pokemon that he has are so good.
Are really strong.
They're so fucking good. And, like, it's ghost-type moves. The most frequently is ghost-type moves. That's so scary.
Yeah.
Defensively, we gave it a 6. We thought that even though he's got a lot of defensive pieces, it could be a bit of a struggle with the type problems that he has. And there are definitely ways he could improve that with trades over the course of the season. I don't think that his draft is, like, in this unrecoverable state of type diversity where he's just fucked in certain matchups. I think it's, like, fine.
He just has a lot of double on the same type.
Double ghost type, like double ghost, type, double steel.
Double fairy, double dark.
Yeah, double dark. Just a lot of double ups. And it's not the best. Value, we gave it a 6. We felt like some of these lower end picks, and even some of his, like, more valuable picks might not have been the best selections for him. But also, like, you can't really go too low with this team. I feel like the value is fine.
Yeah. And 6 is a pretty average value for right around here. I think we independently gave every team from 14 to 9 a 6-star value.
Anyway, that's grade B, 22 stars. Another grade B, 22 stars is Xander. They're joined at the hip here because they, I think, are the only. No, yeah, Nick also has 22 stars. Okay. Xander's team is the prime example of the low concept balance that multiple people are running this season, that we've already talked about multiple of them, but we haven't really talked about that archetype until now, because Xander's is probably one of, if not the best in that specific category. Yeah. Just due to, like, the sheer strength of the Pokemon that he has on his team.
He's got so many good offensive Pokemon that just do what he needs. Fill each other's gaps really well.
Oh, too. Yeah. But his lower end pieces do leave a lot to be desired. And there's just some picks there that I'm not the biggest fan of personally. However, it's not, like, an objectively bad thing. I don't know. There's something about Kilowattrell is really... I could be totally wrong about that pick.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's why I'm leaving it open. But just something about that for 12 is for this team specifically is just bothering me a little bit. Still, we give this offense a 9 out of 10. You can't give any team with King Gambit anything lower than an 8. And
King Gambit and Roaring Moon.
Yeah, he has some ridiculous offensive mons. Like this team is close to being a 10 offense, but I think that it just is resisted a bit too much to be a 10.
A little shy.
Outside of Gengar, so we gave it a 9. Defensively, we gave it a 7. I think it's definitely above average for, like, this kind of realm. Defensively, he's got a lot of type diversity, and Silvally, which that alone basically brings you up a star, because that can be any type. As well as a lot of things that cover his kind of crippling fighting weakness on those two main Pokemon, King Gambit and Roaring Moon.
And that's kind of what he designed his draft to do, cover that crippling fighting weakness. Yeah,
not to mention he also, managed to get those special attackers. Gengar and Hatterene really, just both of them, which is so surprising.
Yeah.
Still overall, it's a very good team. Value, we gave a 6. Just some of those lower end picks are not the best value that he could have gotten.
Like He could have gone in Shuckle instead of Dewpider.
It just feels like he could have split his points a little better. He does have some flexible points, so it's not like the end of the universe. Yeah. 23 stars, grade B+. We have Sophia, Pony Island Calyrex. So,
yeah, I mean,
I'll let you.
Started off re-signed Corviknight Dragapult. Some of the best Pokemon that she had last season.
Probably the best Pokemon that she had.
Yeah, and she piloted them really well.
Mm-hmm. It's a comfort pick, so it's not a terrible idea to re-sign them.
That added so much
dead weight
to her draft that she couldn't really go for anything higher than a 14 cost during the draft.
But she picked probably the best 14 cost in the draft.
That's 14 cost, pretty good 12 cost, 11 cost, 10 cost, good 5 cost.
Yeah, the price taper here, and honestly, the slight value issue that she has, you know, isn't, you know, like the value picks are not bad, but you have to concede, like, her value got tanked by those re-signs. They're not necessarily bad choices, but they could come with some consequences just that are unwanted.
Yeah.
Still, overall, we give her offense an 8. You have Champao Dragonite, Dragonite. You have Champao, Dragapult, Scizor, Mienshao, just some really good offensive pieces. Repaframe too, to a degree. Houndoom, you know. Offensively, this team is really impressive. Defensively, we gave it an 8. Similar to Xander's team, kind of defensively, but just maybe a little bit better type coverage-wise. Not to mention, she just has Corviknight, that just brings your score up by 1, probably.
Yeah.
And then the value, we gave a 6. Because the value picks she made were really good. However, the re-signs tanked her value pretty hard.
Yeah.
Next, we got Chris, 7 Island Pikachu. Same score, grade B+, 23 stars. Chris went Electric Terrain and got pretty much uncontested on it.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. He's running a Sneasler comp. And this means that his offense is going to be like near the best in the whole league.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be held back by the inconsistency of his Sneasler sweep, and just a couple of his Pokemon not really being able to sweep whole teams. That could cause some issues for some matches, and he could just drop some matches because people are prepared for that.
Prepared to force him to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. And if he makes a mistake, it doesn't look good for him. His team defensively is not that impressive. And that doesn't seem to be what he was going for, so I don't think he cares that much. But it is just a fact. This team is definitely closer to a 6 defensively.
Yeah.
However, this team could totally get some crazy blowout games too. Like, I'm expecting that. I'm expecting at least 2 or 3 just 6-0s with Sneasler.
Yeah.
Could be really, really scary. We think the value picks were really good because, I mean, you're getting strong Pokemon and getting the most out of them. Iron Boulder, Iron Jugulus, Iron Moth. You could argue these picks don't have the best value on their own, but with Tapu Koko, you're unlocking their ability to just freely open up their item slot.
And something that we did before the season started, we increased Tapu Koko by 1 point and decreased most of the lower costed electric terrain Pokemon.
Yep.
By 1 point, just so that you could get a little bit of a better value creep from them.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why Chris is 23 total stars. Thought that his value was really good. Or not really, really good, but like above average. Because I'd say the average value score is probably around 6.
It's around 6.
6.5. Next, we have Dean. Kazkarafa Caracastas, another grade B+, 23 stars. Dean put together what I consider to be pretty much the prototypical bulky offense team with a lot of strong pieces that offer great offense, defense, or utility, with some providing multiple of those traits. What I wrote here was that Dean's draft is probably the most punch-you-in-the-mouth style of team of the whole draft season. I think, Joey, you could probably agree with that.
Yeah. Leave him one turn, and something's taking at least 75% damage.
However,
into most of his strong Pokemon.
We give him all of this praise. Why is his score relatively low considering what we just described? Because of this price taper that he has, where it goes from really, really high cost Pokemon, just bam, 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 crazy, crazy high-end team here, to some lower, decent value picks. We actually think these picks are good values. And giving him, good utility as well. However, you gotta remember that they're still weaker Pokemon. They're lower cost for a reason. Even still, I think his value is above average, at least. We gave his offense 9 stars, just because some of his matches are going to be a little bit less, crazy, because of those weaker Pokemon. I think, his best teams are 10 stars, probably. But his worst teams are, 7 stars. However, I don't think he'll ever run the absolute worst team unless he is already guaranteed to get the 1 seed and just tanking again. His defense, we gave a 7. Similar reasons, except I just think overall his defense is just a little less impressive. But he does have Clefable, and you can't sleep on Clefable. Got a lot of immunities on those lower cost Pokemon, so he'll be okay defensively. I think he's fine. And again, we give the value 7. To a total
because
of 23.
He's got 11 Pokemon in his team, and he could drop any one of them at any time to just be down to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Have an extra cap space if he needs.
Yep. Next up, we've got Diego. Lavender Ludicolo's grade grade A-, 24 stars. Diego's draft is a soft weather team comp that looks like it's going to be pretty consistent. At least that's, I think, what he's hoping for. Because it carries a lot of immunities and Pokemon that are just generally strong in and out of that weather that he isn't going to be using every game, almost certainly.
But it's an option.
Yeah, and it's a strong option. His defensive core is a little inconsistent. However, it's arguably the best in the whole league when he has that weather setup.
I mean, you do still have Empoleon on that team.
Yeah,
so
that's one of the best defensive type combinations in the game. Don't want to go too much into that. So we actually gave him 8s across the board for 24 points. I just think this team's super well-rounded.
Yeah, decent value across the board. Offense, decent offense across the board from all his Pokemon.
Yeah.
And defensively, he's pretty decent again.
Yeah. I think I like...
Above average.
Yeah. It's definitely above average across the board for Diego's draft. Now, time will tell if that will transfer to the season. But that's the case with all of these, so, We're going off of what we got. Next, we got Shanton of the Crown Tundra Totodiles, another grade A- at 24 stars. Shanton's team has some really high upside, and you'd expect nothing less from the reigning league champion. Yes, I can read a script. It's a generally strong draft with only a few flaws, but the peak of this team's power is kind of reliant on his opponent's ability to stop him. So the reason it's not higher is because we don't feel like Shanton has 100% full control of his own destiny all the time.
Yeah. He could just get randomly crit by an opponent and just lose a game because of that.
Or even more so, he can't control the match if his opponent is playing better than him.
Yeah.
And
he is super weak to crits, just random crits or anything
crit,
like that.
Crit comps too, crit teams. That is a strategy that exists, and Shanton isn't particularly strong against it.
No one's running it, but it's something you could do.
Yeah, still. Despite that, we give both offense and defense 9 stars, so why did his value get tanked so hard? Well, it's because he has fucking Minchino. We don't agree with all of his picks just inherently, but everything there is fine, except for that fucking rat. I don't know why it's there. Well, I know why it's there. I don't understand why he wants it so bad. And yes, I'm speaking to you directly, Shanton.
I would not have picked it if I were in your shoes.
But feel free to make us look like idiots. If you can find some way to make this Pokemon cracked, then I want to see it so bad. I want to see it work so bad. But, you know, there are other picks on here that we might not necessarily fully agree with, but what do we know? Right, Joey?
We just play Pokemon a little bit.
Play it a little bit. But Bryce is ranked above him, despite having the same star rating, because Bryce's team has control, in our opinion at least, for most of his matches, control over his own destiny almost completely. However, it does run into the classic sand conundrum. Terrible type diversity.
I'd love to be an ice or water type against him, is all I'll say.
Yeah. Especially ice types, because he has Clodsire. He has a water immunity. He has ways to work around that. Man, oh man, do ice moves just fucking rail this team. He does have answers for it.
Fighting is also another issue.
However, with the Mega Aggron, I think that his defensive profile is at least pretty good at most points, as long as he plays it correctly. We gave his offense a 10 out of 10. It's a sand team. Sand teams always have insane offenses.
If you don't give a sand team a 10 out of 10, they're literally like bottom half instead of top half.
Yeah. But defensively, we gave it a 6 out of 10, not because the Mons here don't have good stats, but because their typings just don't align super well for defense. I mean, you just got a lot of ground types, a couple rock types in there, things that just steel types. Yeah, fuck.
It's ground, fighting, ice, water, all scary types against you.
Yeah, but he has some good other, good alternative options.
Yeah.
And his value is pretty good. I like his lower cost picks a lot.
They really do things for him, like that Alakazam, Magcargo, and Stoutland.
Yeah, I feel like those are some of the best picks of their costs, especially for Bryce. Whereas if you weren't Bryce or weren't in his shoes, I think maybe only Alakazam would be the one that I really like there. Magcargo too, just because of its insanely low cost.
Maybe I'm taking Magcargo.
Yeah. Stoutland, not so much. Stoutland is Sandmon through and through. But it does have access to Intimidate, so you can get some stuff working with that. Yeah, we give it an 8. We just like the value here. It could be better technically, but it also could be a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah, a whole lot worse.
Rank 3, I do believe the only grade A, Riley.
Yeah, only grade
Celestic Chimchars. Riley's team is probably... Is it the closest to a hyper offense team out of all the bulky offense teams? I think so. But I'd say it's still a bulky offense team.
Bulky offense teams, yeah, it's probably the closest to hyper offense.
But his focus was more on controlling speed than it was on necessarily always being the fastest. His core is revolving around Annihilate, getting Rage Fist going, one of the most powerful moves of all time. But on Annihilate, it's just elevated to this level that's fucking bonkers. However, without Terra, we'll see. Still
strong.
Yeah. And his team is well designed. It doesn't require Annihilate, which is really good. This is a really good draft. Oh, we gave it... That's not right.
No, that isn't right. What?
What happened? Pretty sure it's supposed to be 9 offense, 9 defense, 7 value. Don't know why.
I don't know why that happened.
I don't know.
Like,
it doesn't. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just funny. Looks like it just looked like his draft was just the best, or actually not even. But
it wasn't even the best.
It was still third place, but fuck it. Either way, this team's just really well rounded. We like it a lot. You got a lot of wall breakers, a lot of really fast Pokemon, ton of immunities. The offense is a 9 because it's limited in some aspects. And the defense is a 9.
Like another special attacker is really...
Yeah, his special attacking situation isn't the best. His defense is a 9 because all of his like team, kind of like Sophia's actually, is being carried by typings more so than typings and abilities more so than stats. And to be a true 10 out of 10 defense, you gotta really have some statty Pokemon too.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest here, Riley doesn't have that for defense. We gave his value 7, mostly just because
his low-cost picks were really, really good.
Yeah. His low-cost picks are good. Maybe don't fully necessarily agree with all of his picks, and of course, you lose a little bit of value for a re-sign. Unless it's a really good re-sign, which Claude is one of the best.
Yeah.
Anyway, without dwelling too much, because we're almost done, we've got Bliss in second place. This team, you notice both of the top teams are actually Sun teams this time around. To some degree. We'll get to Bishop, because, at this point you figured out he's number 1. Oh my god. Is Bliss's team just terrifying?
Yeah.
It is just the most purely, offense-fueled hate-fueled Sun team I've ever fucking seen. And it brings a tear to my eye, god damn it. I love this team so much. When he picked up Gliscor and Scovillain, it just elevated this team to a different level. He has a flex point. Offense is a 10. This is probably the most offensive team in the whole league.
Yeah.
The offense is it goes through the roof here. These Pokemon are really, really good.
Dodging Fire, Infernape.
Yep, Sandy Shocks. You're utilizing Sun to, some of the most potential. It has Scovillain. Defense, we give a 9. Picking up Gliscor definitely saved this team.
Yeah.
You still have kind of a bit of a weakness to Ice, but since you're Sun, you've got some Ice resists. His team isn't poorly built to support Gliscor, and Gliscor just was available for him to pick up. Crazy trade.
Insane, by the way.
Crazy trade. The fact that didn't get picked in the draft is so surprising. Value, we gave a 9. Just, some of those middle tier picks, not 100% sure were the best choices for his team, but I also can't say that they're wrong. Which is why it's a 9. Because if I can't come up with a reason why they're wrong, then I'm probably wrong.
or I can't come up with a better Pokemon than them. I'm wrong,
I think
probably.
more what I'm thinking is the accurate statement there. It is not a 10. I don't think it's a 10. I don't think he got the absolute most out of his points.
Scovillain is a very good use of points in Sun, though.
But yeah, fuck. That is a good team. However, there's one team that's better.
And
Bishop. Nimbus
last but not
Joltix,
least,
grade S. 29 points. I'm going to read this one off. Bishop's draft is by most accounts the most powerful draft here. Carrying a dual mode Sun/Rain team comp, Bishop has truly unlocked the surprise factor in Walking Wake. This has made the Pokemon go from extremely threatening to red alert. In fact, it is practically a second captain when considering the unpredictability of Bishop's team week to week. If Joey and I were to bet on one player to complete a perfect or lossless regular season, 14-0, we would put our money on Bishop. This team is especially scary because he managed to put together this terrifying team with 2 flex points on the table, one of which is currently Sunflora. Alright, Joey, what do you got to say about this?
What do I have to say about this? You've got Politoed, you've got Ninetales, and then you just got Walking Wake. It can do whatever you want. Then you got all these great value picks down under 10 cost. You got Gastrodon, good defensive Pokemon. You got Heliolisk, good, really useful in Rain and Sun. Even helps him out against Bryce a little bit too in those sand matchups if you need it to. You got Poliwrath, you've got Sunflora, probably the best Chlorophyll Mon per point that you could have gotten. Scovillain probably being the second best. You just got so much working for you.
Yeah, Scovillain might be best, actually. I know that the 1 point value is crazy, but Scovillain is...
It's close. And
Scovillain has a better time hitting crazy speed tiers.
Yeah, it's close, and that's sad.
Yeah. Dude, Sunflora is fucked. For 1 cost. In Sun, specifically. Out of Sun...
Useless everywhere else.
He's not getting the most out of it. Out of Sun... Weather Ball gives it some niche case on a rain side, rain mode. However, I don't think he'll ever use it in rain mode. But his rain mode team is pretty damn good as is. I will say I think his Sun half is slightly better.
Slightly better, but I mean rain mode's still pretty good. You still got the Gavantulas, you still got the Genesects, you still got the Walking Wakes, you still even have the Poliwraths and not Walking Wakes and Talonflames of the world that can do something in the rain.
Yeah, well, Talonflame's usage in rain is a little bit more niche than it is in Sun. But, I digress. This is our pre-season, or I guess technically the season starts in less than a week.
Started already.
This is our pre-week 1 draft ranking. And then this sheet's probably going to become a power ranking that we actively update. I'm going to try and be a bit more active this time, guys. I'm sorry that last time I was a bit wobbly on it, a little shaky. But these will almost certainly be wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I am expecting... It's going to be some bullshit, like Bishop fucking losing to Andrew in week 1 and just... messing up the whole ranking. No, I don't know about that, but something's gonna happen really. Like, in week 1, we're gonna be like, oh.
If you're looking at these rankings, you know what would be the biggest upset?
It
would be Violet beating Bryce.
And I could totally see it happening. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing.
Good night, everyone. Good luck this season. This should be a fun one. I actually like these drafts more than the first season, so I'm really looking forward to this.
I am too.
All right.
I'm looking forward.
Deuces.